Today we are unpacking what it looks like to walk a student through a conversation around salvation through to baptism. So our goal today is to think through how we can equip a fellow leader to know, like, how do I begin to talk to a student about their salvation? How do I have that first difficult, maybe scary conversation? And then what do I do when a student comes to me ready for that conversation around salvation? And what do I do when I'm preparing a student for, or they're asking me about baptism?
Yeah, I think something really important to note is that if a child comes to you and is ready for that conversation, to just greet them with excitement and
Joyous
just proud, like pride, and just show them that like this is an exciting moment. I'm here for you. We're gonna like go through this conversation together. So just showing the child excitement and just being there throughout the steps that they're gonna need to take.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think on the flip side, if a kid isn't quite ready, because again, it takes discernment.
Yeah.
You have to know the kid.
Yeah.
And because no one's gonna be comfortable going up to some random kid who comes in who nobody knows and being like, "Hey, are you saved?
Let's get you saved."
Let's be real. None of us are gonna do that.
Yeah.
So what needs to happen is we need to start with relationship.
Yeah.
We need to get to know these kids, what they love, what they're struggling with. And through that, we can start to see, like, are they in a place where they are recognizing that there needs to be a change?
Yeah.
And do they recognize kind of what that change is through being here, through being ministered to? And I feel like after we get to that point, it's a lot easier to be able to, once we've been friendly with them for a while, we've built this relationship and this mutual trust, we get to the point where we're comfortable, we as leaders are comfortable breaching the topic of, like, why are you here?
Yeah.
What makes you keep coming back?
Yeah.
What do you think of what's going on around you? Where's your heart at right now?
Yeah.
And it makes them a lot more receptive to being open to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Being able to tell us honestly where their heart's at and why they're there.
Yeah.
And it may just be my mom forces me to come on Sunday nights. It may also be, like, this is the best part of my week.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel like that's a really great way to just, bring that opening and that openness to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like also letting them know that salvation isn't like, you don't just stop there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the end and the beginning of something new. It's the end of your old worldly life, but it's the beginning of your new spiritual life. And I feel like a lot of times, like, we're just like, get saved, but then we don't explain that point. Like, your worldly self is gone now. Like, that should be no more. And the spiritual life should, like, that is what you want to thrive for the rest of your life. And that is something that I personally try to really incorporate with the students, because it's just like, they just think they get saved and then go on with their little life.
It's in my Instagram bio. I'm
yeah.
Right.
But Psalms,
Sure.
it's always the Psalms, I promise you. But but like, just like letting them know, like, this is going to be, quote unquote, a lot of work, but you're going to realize how easy it is once you do it more and more.
Yeah.
And the reward is beautiful.
Yeah. And like, to something that you said a second ago, like, I think it's also important to recognize when we are walking a student through like a salvation moment, like, it actually is about to get a little harder because you're going to be putting to death a life that you've been very comfortable living that has had full control of you for the last 13, 14, 15, 16 years of your life. Like, there's a passage in Romans where Paul talks about, like, if it wasn't for the law, I wouldn't know that I was sinful, and I wouldn't have a struggle to sin because I would just live my life blindly in sin. But because the veil has been removed, the power of sin was activated within me to create this struggle, this tension, this fight within me for godliness. And like really what we're doing, to your point, in that moment is recognizing, like, the struggle is starting now. In your salvation moment. This tension is going to exist within you between sinfulness and godliness. And it's our job to walk you through that and to give you the tools to fight that battle.
Okay. Going into baptism, I feel like once a child is saved and that next step is baptism, they have a lot of questions, and they question if they're ready, if this is the right step for them. I think it's really important to explain to them that baptism doesn't change anything other than that they are now washed away of any of the sins they've committed. They are perfectly clean. And even though they're going to commit sins after that, they don't have to get re-baptized. They are still clean. God continues to show them the way. So I feel like baptism doesn't have to be as scary as they make it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to emphasize with that too is that baptism isn't the change, it's what signifies the change.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's us proclaiming what is happening in our lives.
Yeah.
It's not what's going to be the catalyst for those things, but we need to explain to kids that you're saved. Jesus did this for you. You're proclaiming that because he did that for you, you're accepting it and you're loving him and you're giving your life to him. You've already said all of that in your salvation. Through that, you're ready for baptism already, right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I feel like we just need to really emphasize that.
Yeah, and like baptism is not optional, but it's not essential to salvation, right? So like you can get saved and then you can be on your way home and God forbid be in a car accident and go to heaven, right? But to get saved and continue to choose to not be baptized is actually an act of willful disobedience to what Jesus has commanded us.
Yeah.
Because the command is to be saved and to be baptized, to go and make disciples, to